Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the inner game. How to win from the inside out. Great quote. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Let's get started. Here's some books referenced in this report. A lot of great authors here. I'm gonna obviously, be including this report for you guys, as always, here for your download pleasures, and you can read it. I have a few that kind of stand out to me. Again, these are all heavy hitters, but Napoleon Hill, of course, James Clear, and a few other people here. Obviously, Marcus Aurelius Meditations. I read that book at least once a year. Amazing, amazing, rich directory and library of stuff to read. So that's going to be included for you guys. So, intro. Everyone's chasing the external, the money, the body, the status, the relationship, the house, the car, the title, and they keep losing. Not because they don't work hard enough, not because they're not smart enough, not because they don't have the right strategy, but because they have the order backwards. They're trying to fix the reflection without changing what's being reflected. They're trying to change the outer world while their inner world stays exactly the same. And here's the truth that most people will never accept: your external reality is a mirror. It reflects your internal state. Change the inside, and the outside has no choice but to follow. James Allen wrote in here, as a man thinketh, men do not attract what they want, but what they are. This was written in 1903. Over 100 years later, most people still haven't figured this out. And today, I'm going to show you how to actually win from the inside out. In this video, we're going to cover the inner-outer connection, the 6 internal pillars you need to build, and the external following once the internal is solid. The exact daily practice to make this real. This isn't theory, this isn't game. Let's get into it. Part 1, the inner-outer connection, the mirror principle. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. Your hair is messy. You reach out and try to fix your hair in the mirror. Sounds insane, right? But that's exactly what most people do with their lives. They try to fix the reflection. More money tactics when the relationship with money is broken. More relationship advice when their self-worth is in the gutter. More productivity hacks when their internal state is chaos. Your external reality mirrors your internal state. I'm going to be repeating this a lot today. Money, relationships, health, career, and all reflections. It was Neville Goddard that said in The Power of Awareness, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Read that again. What you assume to be true about yourself, about the world, about what's possible becomes your reality. Not because of magic, because your assumptions filter what you notice, what you attempt, and how you show up. The self-image ceiling. In 1960, there was a surgeon named Maxwell Maltz noticed something strange. Some patients would get their scars removed or their noses fixed, and their lives would transform. New confidence, new opportunities, new relationships. But other patients would get the same exact surgery and nothing would change. Same insecurities, same limitations, same life. The difference wasn't the surgery, it was their self-image. Maltz wrote in Psycho-Cybernetics, the self-image sets boundaries of individual accomplishment. It defines what you can and cannot do. Expand the self-image and you can expand the area of the possible. This is why lottery winners go broke within a few years. Their external changed, but their internal didn't. So they return to their internal thermostat. This is why self-made millionaires who lose everything often rebuild. Their external changed, but their internal didn't. So they return to their internal thermostat. Same principle, opposite directions. And here's a aha moment. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe you deserve. Your subconscious is constantly working to prove your self-image right. If you believe you're a 50K a year person, you'll sabotage every opportunity to become a 500K year person. Not consciously, not on purpose, but your subconscious will find a way. Feeling isn't external, it's internal. And until you raise it on the inside, no amount of external effort will break through it. Part number 2, the 6 internal pillars. So what actually needs to change on the inside? These are 6 pillars. Miss any one and the whole structure is unstable. Build all six and you become unshakable. Pillar number one, self-concept. You believe you are. There's a phrase that runs your entire life. Most people never examine it. Quote, I'm the kind of person who, I'm the kind of person who always runs late. I'm the kind of person who's bad with money, who can't stick to things, who gets nervous in social situations. These aren't observations, they're commands. Your brain takes them as instructions and execute them perfectly. Most people inherited their self-concept from childhood, from parents who said, you're so messy, you're the shy one, from teachers who said, you're not a math person, from experiences that got interpreted as, I'm not good enough. And they've been running that software ever since, unexamined, unquestioned, unchallenged. Dr. Joe Dispenza writes in Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, to change is to think greater than your environment, greater than your body, and greater than time. Winners consciously architect their identity. They decide who they are. They don't accept the default programming. To shift, write down, I am the kind of person who, not who you've been, but who you're becoming. What would future you believe about yourself? Adopt it now. Pillar number two, standards. What you tolerate. Here's something that most people don't understand. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. Your standards are what you accept as normal, what you tolerate, what you're willing to put up with. Most people have negotiable standards. I usually go to the gym. I try to eat healthy. I generally save money. Winners don't. Their standards are non-negotiable. Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of your standards. Darren Hardy also expands on this in the compound effect. Small tolerances compound into big problems. You tolerate being 5 minutes late, becomes 15 minutes late, and then it becomes unreliable. You tolerate one unhealthy meal, becomes a bad day, becomes a bad month, and 30 pounds later, that's what happens. You tolerate disrespect once, becomes a standard, and then becomes your life. The shift. Identify 3 areas where you've lowered your standards. What would a non-negotiable look like in each? Raise the floor. Pillar number 3, emotional mastery, controlling your state. Most people believe emotions are things that happen to them. I got angry, I felt anxious, I was overwhelmed, as if they had no say in the matter, as if the emotions are weather, something you just endure. But emotions are states you enter and states you can learn to control. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, in Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, between stimulus and response, there is space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. If a math and concentration camp can choose a response, you can choose yours when someone cuts you off in traffic. You can choose yours when a deal falls through, or when life doesn't go as planned. Ryan Holiday talks about this in The Obstacle is the Way, the Stoic philosophy of perception, action, and will. You can't always control what happens. You can always control how you respond. Reactive people are controlled by circumstance. Proactive people control their internal state regardless of external conditions. And here's the shift. Morning practice. Choose your emotional state before checking your phone. Pattern interrupt. So when triggered, pause and ask, what would the best version of me do right now? Pillar number 4, belief systems. The operating system. Here's a simple but profound truth. Beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking. That's it. They're not facts, they're not truth, they're patterns of thought that you got repeated so often they became automatic. Most beliefs are inherited from your parents, your culture, your environment, unexamined and limiting. Money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy. I'm not the kind of person who... People like me don't fill in the blank. These run in the background, filtering your reality, determining what you notice, what you attempt, and what you achieve. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Another great reference is Carol Dweck's research in mindset confirms this. People with a fixed mindset believe abilities are static. People with a growth mindset believe abilities can be developed. Same circumstances, different beliefs, vastly different outcomes. And here's the shift: audit your beliefs about money, success, relationships, and yourself. For each limiting belief, ask, is this actually true? What evidence do I have? What if the opposite were true? Pillar number 5, focus. Where attention goes. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's basically a filter. It decides what information gets through to your conscious awareness. And here's how it works. You buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. They were always there, you just didn't notice them. Your brain filters for what you focus on. So again, most people focus on problems, fears, what's wrong, what they don't have, what could go wrong, and their brain dutifully finds more of it. Winners focus on solutions, opportunities, what's possible, what they're building towards, what could go right. And their brain finds more of that. Gary Keller writes this, right, in The One Thing. Extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. What you focus on expands, not metaphysically, neurologically. Your focus literally shapes what you perceive and experience. So, for the shift, morning question: what's the one thing I can do today that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? And then your evening question: what went right today? Not what went wrong. Pillar 6, integrity. Alignment between words and actions. I'm not talking about morality, I'm talking about alignment. Do you do what you'll say you'll do? Especially when no one's watching. Especially when it's just you making promises to yourself. Every broken promise to yourself weakens your self trust. Every time you say you'll wake up early and hit snooze, every time you'll go to the gym and don't, every time you'll say you'll finish that project and scroll instead, you're telling yourself, my word doesn't matter. Don Miguel Ruiz writes in the Four Agreements, be impeccable with your word. He means it literally. Your word creates your reality. When you break it, you break something inside yourself. James Clear puts this in his book, Atomic Habits, very clearly. Every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you vote for the person who keeps promises. Every time you break one, you vote for the person who doesn't. So for our aha moment number 2, every time you say you'll wake up at 6 a.m. and hit snooze, you tell yourself you can't be trusted. Every time you say you'll go to the gym and don't, you vote against your integrity. It's not about the gym. It's about what it does to your self-concept. You're training yourself to believe your word doesn't matter. And if you don't trust you, how can the world? So the shift. Make smaller promises you will keep. Rebuild self-trust through consistent small wins. Integrity with yourself comes first. Part 3, the external follows. When these 6 pillars are solid, something strange happens. The external starts to shift almost automatically, almost like magic, but it's not magic, it's physics. Here's the overflow principle. You don't chase success, you become the person success flows to. Opportunities appear, they were always there, you just couldn't see them before. Your filter changed. People treat you differently. They're responding to your energy, not your words. Your presence changed. Money follows value, and value follows authentic self-expression from a solid foundation. Your output changed. Gary Hendricks calls this the upper limit problem and the big leap. We all have an internal thermostat for how much success, love, and happiness we allow ourselves. When we exceed it, we self-sabotage to return to the familiar zone. The internal work raises that thermostat. Michael Singer describes this in The Untethered Soul, love that book. When you stop resisting internally, when you let go of the blocks, life starts to flow through you, not against you. And here's the big energy shift. There's something people can sense but can't articulate. Desperation repels, neediness repels, attachment repels. Confidence attracts, groundedness attracts, none attracts. When you're internally solid, you stop needing outcomes. You want them, you work for them, but you don't need them. Your identity isn't tied to them. Paradoxically, that's when outcomes come fastest. You negotiate better because you're willing to walk away. You sell better because you're not attached to the sale. You connect better because you're not seeking validation. David Data writes about this in The Way of the Superior Man, living from your core versus seeking external validation. When you're grounded in who you are, the world responds differently. And our aha moment number three, the goal isn't to get things so you could feel good. The goal is to feel good so things come to you. Most people have this backwards. I'll be happy when I have the money. I'll be confident when I have the success. I'll feel worthy when I have the relationship. It doesn't work that way. The internal state comes first. We know this. The external follows, always. Part number four, the practice. This isn't philosophy. This is practice, daily practice. Here's exactly how to implement this. The daily inner work just takes 15-20 minutes a day. Morning identity statement. Write or speak, I am the kind of person who, fill in the blank. Describe the future you as present tense fact. Not I will be, but I am. Number two, belief audit. Notice any limiting thought that comes up. Ask, is this true? What if the opposite were true? Replace with empowering alternative. Number three, state setting. Before checking your phone or email, choose your emotional state for the day. Visualize yourself moving through the day in that state. Feel it in your body and make it real. Number four, focus declaration. What's the one thing I can do today that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? Write it down and commit to it. Number five, integrity check. What did I commit to yesterday? Did I keep my word? What am I committing to today? Make it small enough that you will do it. Number six, evening reflection. What went right today? Where did I show up my best self? What's one thing I could do better tomorrow? Gratitude for three things. And here's the compound effect. This isn't dramatic. It's not exciting. It's 15-20 minutes a day. But compound over weeks, months, years, you become a completely different person. A completely different person that gets completely different results. So to close this out, let me leave you with this. Paulo Coelho wrote in The Alchemist, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. But here's what he didn't say. The universe responds to who you are, not what you want. You can want money while believing you don't deserve it. You can want success while sabotaging yourself. You can want love while pushing people away. Wanting isn't enough. Being is everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations almost 2,000 years ago, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. The game is internal. It always has been. It always will be. Win on the inside and on the outside will prove itself out. That's inner game. Now go play it. If this hits home, subscribe. More videos like this coming. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.